afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Del Norte County Solid Waste Management Authority meeting. We'll call the meeting to order. Can you please do the roll call?
Chairman Cowan?
Here.
Commissioner Inscore?
Here.
Commissioner Greeno?
Here.
Great. Is Commissioner Napa joining us by phone?
Yes, he'll be joining us by phone for the timed item, but he won't be able to attend otherwise.
Oh, okay. Great. So at this time, I'm going to take any public comment. Any member of the public may address the Solid Waste Management Authority on any matters on or off the agenda. After receiving recognition from the chair, please give your name, address for the record. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Do I have any public comment at this time? Good afternoon, Eileen. There's no podium. Go ahead.
But we'll be using that desk as the podium, so go ahead and press the red button when you're ready to speak. What? Apparently the mic's on.
Hello, do I have to touch anything?
No.
No.
It's on.
Okay.
Lean towards the
I can hear you.
All right, Eileen Cooper. Hello, Solid Waste Authority meeting. I just want to encourage you, no matter who is on the task force, I think at this time we need all the community help of ideas we can get for improving our reduction of waste in this community. I think we have to make recycling, but also reduction, key and evident, a campaign throughout the community that involves stores to be proactive in advertising for and encouraging product use that reduces waste. And so besides the awards you're giving today, I hope there'll be many more awards that could be given when we achieve a little bit closer to zero waste. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other public comment at this time? Okay, I'm going to move to the consent agenda real quick through that before we get on to the awards. On the consent agenda, we have 2 items. Approved minutes from the special session Thursday, March 21st, 2019, and approve of a budget transfer in the amount of $10,150.
In front of you is a revised version of that budget transfer. They weren't completely balanced on the one that was printed, so we are looking to approve the one that is in front of you.
Which is still at the same amount.
10,150. Yeah. That's correct.
Right. I'll entertain a motion. Okay.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any public comment on the consent agenda items only? Seeing none, could you please pull the vote?
Commissioner Greeno?
Yes.
Chair Cowan?
Yes.
Commissioner Inscore?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so let's move on to the fun part of the agenda, the Green Ribbon Awards. Ted, do you want to go ahead and go through those?
Sure, I'd be happy to. The Green Ribbon Awards are the only environmental award given by any local government agency in Del Norte County each year, and each year we try to emphasize a particular angle of waste prevention, recycling, composting that we think is in need of celebration. So this year, we're particularly celebrating those partners and businesses that have helped us in product stewardship programs. So we have the first 3 awards that we'd like to present are to Mike Schmidt of Suburban Propane, Kendra Jones of Lucky 7 Fuel Mart, and Mike Finley of Hyuchi Hamlet. And this is all for participating in the Refuel Your Fun program, selling and refilling reusable small propane containers. So we've got those 3 awards, and Mike, I know you're here. Kendra or Mike, are they here? No? Okay, we'll make sure. Thank you very much. We'll get together for a photograph when we're all done. Mike Finley was also recognized for being participating in our all-household battery recycling program. We have a variety of locations, retailers that sell batteries that also take them back through a program that's supported by Call to Recycle. And essentially, this program gives each of those stores a box that they fill with batteries. We do ask that one end of each battery be taped, but then customers can bring those batteries in a bag with one end taped. The retailers take them, put them in the box. When the box fills up, they mail it off. Another empty box gets mailed to them. So we really appreciate all of the retailers that are participating in that program, and we'd like to recognize Hayuchi Hamlet, Crescent Ace Hardware, Home Depot, Walgreens, Safeway, the Yurok Tribal Office, and Pame Fuel Mart, all for participating in that program. And we'd like to give a special big shout out to Hamburg WSG, who processes more household batteries than anybody else in the program. So for all of those participants, if you could come forward, if any of you are here. Thank you so much. This is among the most convenient retail battery recycling programs in the country. So thanks so much for your part of it. Thank you so much. Let's see. Kendra Jones, is that you? Yes, we'll get you again. Sorry. Okay. And then we'd like to also recognize Hamburg Recycling, including David Schlegel and Randy Scott, if he's here, for operating the only buyback recycling center in Delaware County and for promoting responsible recycling. Randy Scott, thank you so much. David Schlegel.
No, he's got it. You only get one.
You only get one. Okay. And then Richard Knudsen from West Park Properties. We're recognizing his outstanding efforts to improve recycling behaviors with their tenants in their multifamily properties. And then last but not least, we have Mike Van Steen. Is he here? Oh, excellent. Thank you. This representative from Humboldt Moving and Storage, and we'd like to recognize them for their taking part in the mattress recycling program through the Mattress Recycling Council, also a product stewardship program.
That's a good one.
So if we could,
Thank you so much.
oh, sorry, we got one more?
Richard.
Richard.
West Park.
Yes, okay, so Richard Knudsen of West Park Properties. Yay. Right. There you go. And yeah, let's, and then the last one who walked in, we started early. Kendra Jones of Lucky 7 Fuel Mart for their participation in our Refuel Your Fun program, selling and refilling small reusable propane containers. This is really important as we are a tourist destination, and so lots of folks in urban areas buy these reusable propane containers, and this is the only location they can get them refilled north of Santa Rosa, so apart from our other participants in the Refuel Your Fun program. So if I could ask everybody who got a Green Ribbon Award to come over and we'll do a picture. Hopefully it won't take too long. There we go. There we go.
Should make that.
Let's get between the door and the blue color. Go ahead and block out the air conditioning unit. Okay, Lori? Well, you want to do your own. Okay, that's fine. You're actually part of the display. if anybody would like a picture of that, we'd be happy to send you one. Just give our office a call. Again, thank you very much to all the Green Ribbon Award winners. Okay, so that was taken there.
Sign that one. I wasn't sure
That's fine.
which one was which, so I filled out
Okay.
everything.
That's
That was the one that was on the table.
the work.
We're
Okay.
going to adjourn as the Solid Waste and reconvene at the Abandoned Vehicle Abatement Service Authority, since Dominic is here already. So
Okay.
what else do I need to do with that? Just say that?
That's,
We're
I
good?
think that's okay.
Okay.
All right.
Identify the same.
We are
board
now,
members that were-
the same board members are here. I have Commissioner Greenow and Commissioner Enscore here, and we're reconvening convening as the Abandoned Vehicle Abatement Service Authority. Welcome, Dominic.
So we got the first quarter and second quarter report in, and really business is normal, and nothing to report out unless you guys have some questions.
Can you get closer to the mic, Dominic?
Yep, is that better?
So nothing to report out on the first quarter of the year is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, we're looking good. Our budget's sitting good with the supplement of the CalRecycle Grant.
Great.
So yeah.
You guys have any questions for Mr. Mellon? No? Well, thank you for showing us.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, while he's there, Dominic, is there any comments that you wanted to make about the proposed budget while you're here? Because we're going to be doing that as well.
No, it's pretty standard on that budget.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Okay, so we are going to leave that and come back and reconvene.
No, we've got two actions to, here's the budget. Are we just receiving and filing?
No, the budget actually does need to be approved.
Okay.
Well, then we need to wait till 4:30.
Oh, I'm sorry, and legal counsel has informed us we really do need to wait until 4:30 as that is a timed item. So unfortunately, we should wait to vote on the
This is what I get
budget.
for listening to the mayor. Gosh.
So,
It's an agenda review
um,
problem. Should never-
but we can take that up at 4:30. Yes.
Okay. Then we're gonna go back
Oh.
and reconvene and come back to that later and deal with the budget on that. So, item number 2 on our Delaware County, or Delaware Solid Waste Management Authority Board is the Treasurer's Report.
Yep. So the treasurers and directors reports. This is the time in which I cover several things that are not otherwise addressed in the agenda that are activities of this agency. And so the Pacific Shores Broom Bash was a big success on March 30th. The board supported this with an authority allocated dumpster. Also, the Tallow Dune Stewards had done another broom removal at the Crescent City landfill property last Saturday, and staff appreciates the efforts of each and every volunteer helping with those events. We just had the Green Ribbon Awards. The Eco Hero School Outreach Program will be scheduled for the Gasky Mountain School on May 9th and Redwood Elementary on May 10th. The city staff will be conducting their clean sweep brush collection services, collecting yard debris within city limits on May 29th south of 9th Street, on May 28th south of 9th Street, and on May 29th north of 9th Street. Hamburg WSG and the authority waived fees to receive these materials at no cost to the city, apart from the city's significant staff efforts to continue this program. Also, and as a separate program, Recology Del Norte will have their spring cleanup during the week of April 29th through May 3rd. So Recology residential customers are to call 464-4181 to set up an appointment for collection of their yard debris if they want to participate in that program. Agenda item 3.3 is a request to support the Klamath tribe in their annual Klamath River cleanup. As additional outreach, there will be the Rethinking Recycling radio program this Friday at 11 a.m. And also on April 22nd, Earth Day, Mike Thornton's KFUG program will have the authority director as a guest. Continuing on, I think that's most of it. Rick Morrison has been hired as a refuse site attendant, and he is currently being trained. And with that, concludes the director's report. I'd be happy to answer any questions on that.
Any questions from the directors? Any public comment? Okay, moving on.
Okay, moving on. We're coming out of February, so it's part of the slower part of the year. Our cash balance continues to have about $1,100,000 in it, plus the additional nearly $200,000 for last month's rent. You can see claims approved by director. The major expenditure, as usual, is to Hamburg WSG for the good services they provide at the transfer station. And we also had significant expenditures paying for the interfund cost plan. That's for the county services, including the services recording and putting this on the web. And we appreciate the county setting up in this room as the Board of Supervisors chambers is under repair. So that concludes the claims report. We also have the the continuing financial reports. Looking through there, you can see again, revenue is a little bit down because it's through March and we're coming in out of spring. If you look at our authority revenue reports under item 2.5, you can see that our authority service fees are about $17,400 behind budget. So we're expecting that will increase in the coming months, but you'll also see in the next page that our franchise fees are $28,875 ahead of budget. So net comparing those two, the authority's income at this point in time is a little over $11,000 ahead of budget. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from commissioners regarding the budget? Any comments from the public? Okay.
All right. It being 4:20, it might be a good time to call Commissioner Naffa, which is a timed item for 4:25.
Can't start till 4:25.
We can't start until 4:25. So, well,
I mean, we can get them on the phone.
but you can't decide anything until 4:25.
Don't discuss the item till 4:25.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, that's like 17 or well, 6 minutes away.
right. So we'll do another item. You want to do the budget in 6 minutes?
Sure.
All right. Item 3.2 is the authority budget. The Delaware Solid Waste Management Authority drafts and presents our budget ahead of the other county government agencies. And so for that reason, we always have to work closely with the county auditor to generate some of the numbers that go into our budget. And so essentially, if you have any comments on this budget, now is a good time to do that. And then the process is that we then submit this budget to the county and to the city and for their review if they so choose. And then they can submit written comments for the board's consideration before we finally adopt it. So it's a little bit of a drawn out process, but it is something that we do every year. Comparing this year to previous years, the interfund cost plan has increased $16,000 compared to last year. So that's a pretty significant jump. And on the whole, the interfund cost plan is now costing us $90,717. So that's for all of the accounting services, the IT services, and the auditing services from the county. And we appreciate those services, but it's a significant price tag now. But we have to budget for it.
Mr. Ward, do you,
Yes.
in communications with the county auditor, give you any explanation of why such a large increase in a single year?
Short answer is no.
Well, yeah,
I just recall from past conversations that we're like one fiscal year behind. So it's based upon expenditures prior, and then it gets paid out in the future budget. So it's basically the actual cost of services from last year.
okay, so it costs them $16,000 more last year to do whatever they did, so we're
In a
budgeting
previous
for
fiscal
that.
year, correct.
Well, I guess it still begs the question, why did it cost them $16,000 more to provide those services last year? I think if we're going to budget in an increase, and with the idea that there's an increase in cost, we should know what's driving those increases, so that we can have some kind of idea of what those are. I don't do well with somebody just saying, well, it's 16,000 more.
I believe you guys are billed on services rendered, correct? So, go ahead.
And we have had increased traffic through the transfer station, so the activities that the county has done on our behalf, to the extent that they're connected to the number of transactions we have at the transfer station, that could be a partial explanation.
Okay.
Let's see.
Hey, Ted, could
Yes.
Could you possibly reach out to the county and find out exactly what the reason is for
Absolutely,
this
I'll do that, and I'll be
increase?
prepared with that information when I talk to the city and the county.
Thank you.
And my assumption is they're billing you for services rendered, so you're gonna have to look at services that they provided the year before and then last year to find your difference.
Uh-huh.
I don't think the price has gone up, I think the usage of county time has gone up.
And I must say the county continues to be a good working partner on all of these things. When we were trying to scramble for what to do about this meeting, for instance, they were very much a can-do, well, where can we find it? We'll set this up, we'll make this work, and we really appreciate that. Other things that have changed, our projected income for next year is a little bit down based on what our current income is. So consequently, our budget is seeing a little contraction in that way. We are anticipating that based on the changes to the Consumer Price Index, the disposal rates will increase by approximately 2%. So we're looking at less than a $2.50 increase per ton. So the income is a fairly conservative estimate, and I tried to keep that throughout because, as you see, when we're conservative on our budgetary estimates and we just track our income and our income is ahead of schedule, then we know that our budget is sound and that we're paying our bills. So that's how we try to continue to manage it. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, Commissioner Villar?
No.
Commissioner Ensler?
No, I'm good.
Any comments, input from the public? Okay, moving on. It is now 4:24.
Can I take that as consensus direction on the two recommendations? Which are to review and provide comments. I'm not hearing any specific comments other than you want a response on why did the interfund cost plan increase. And second, direct staff to transmit the proposed budget to the Delaware County Board of Supervisors and Crescent City Council as required under the Joint Powers Agreement and return with any written comments that are adopted by either of those boards.
And you just need direction.
That's correct.
You don't need a vote.
That's correct.
Consensus?
Yes.
Good with that?
Go ahead and do
Other than
that.
the one question?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, with that, let's call Mr. Naffa.
I agree, and that just as you said.
We're sorry.
Oh, no.
We're sorry.
Oh,
You
please.
would-
One?
9 and then a 1.
Oh,
Try
nine.
that one. And then 9, 1, 7, or 7. It's way easier with a cell phone.
Oh, good. All right.
Hi, everyone.
Mr. Naffa.
Yes.
Well, you are on speakerphone broadcasting at the Veterans Hall and are now part of the Del Norte Solid Waste Management Authority meeting. Welcome.
Great. Thank you. It's good to be part of the meeting again.
So the
Okay.
agenda item is the resolution, 2019-04, discussing possible modifying the regular authority meeting date and time.
So, hi Eli, it's Lori.
Yeah, hi, Lori.
We know that there's a kind of a conflict with your new position and the board meeting, and we switched it the last time, and I think we came, we discussed it as a board last time to bringing it back to the third Tuesday at 4, but felt that you weren't part of that discussion, so we wanted to bring you into the discussion and talk about keeping it where we're at right now. Or any suggestions you have on other possibilities that may or may not work.
Okay. Yeah, as far as my schedule, I would not be available on Tuesdays, but I am available any Thursday. It doesn't have to be the third Thursday. It could be the first, second, third, or fourth, or fifth, or whatever. But Thursday would be the day that I'd be available in the afternoon, or I'm available on Fridays anytime.
Okay, so I think whatever the Thursday we chose the last time, it was a conflict for Commissioner Enscore.
Me as well.
Right, that was the third Thursday.
And Commissioner Greeno as well. Was that the third Thursday that we did? Okay. So I
Could you
guess
turn your
let me
mic on,
ask-
Chair?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we tried the third Thursday. That does not work for Commissioner Greenow or Commissioner Enscore. Gentlemen, I mean, you want to chime in on this, on any other Thursdays that may or may not work for you? I know, yeah, the first Thursdays for me is not a good day. 1, 2, 3. Next month, the 4th isn't either, but on ongoing, I don't have an ongoing meeting on the 4th or the 5th on some months, but I guess they don't always have it. So the 4th or the 2nd would be the 2nd or 4th Thursday, I can talk, would be the only thing that doesn't conflict with my schedules if we were to choose to move it to a Thursday.
Thursday is not, I could make, those are the only 2 Thursdays that I could do as well. The 2nd and the 4th could be considerations. I'll have to move some things to be able to do that, but that is a possibility. I'm also thinking of Commissioner Greenhouse's schedule, given that he works first watch, and his days off are Monday and Tuesday, so doing it in the first of the week is a lot easier for him than having to get up from sleep for a meeting. But that, I'll let him speak to that.
That's part of the reason why I opted to be on this board, because of my work schedule. But if that's all that works, I mean, I could make it work, I suppose. If it was a different Thursday, of course. But Tuesdays really are the best day for me. We're also missing one more commissioner as well, so I mean, we don't know what his schedule is.
I don't know Chris's schedule either. I believe Thursdays were not good for him.
That's what I thought that I understood him to say when we met
The
last
Thursdays
month.
aren't good.
Tuesdays really
The
are
only
best day for
Thursday,
this.
the only Thursday I believe that was good for Commissioner Howard was the 3rd, because we have tri-agency right before it. And so that worked for him that Thursday. I don't know that any of the other Thursdays were good for him, but that one did. And I know that so I think that's where he was, but I can't.
In speaking to Kylie of the Board of Supervisors, she did also mention that the third Friday would be open, starting at 4 o'clock, as the only other activity is a code enforcement officer, code enforcement abatement hearings, and those generally go from 1:30 to 3. So Friday might be another possibility.
Fridays are not good for me. What about you?
I would prefer not to schedule a Friday afternoon meeting.
And it's, you know, I just have 2 other jobs, and Friday is, I'm at those jobs. I have to kind of, you know,
Friday does not work.
and Friday does not work for Commissioner Greenow. I think we came to the consensus of Fridays at the last meeting. So it came down of finding a Thursday that may or may not work, or keeping it where it was at, and we chose to go back to the Tuesday. And I think that's what works best for everybody, was the 3rd Tuesday, except for Eli. And I don't know how we go from there.
Mr. Naffa?
Yes. The only thing that would work for me, unfortunately, like I said, would be either a Thursday or a Friday. And I, you know, I can understand because of the fact that, you know, we can't possibly maybe get all of our schedules to coincide. So something has to give. So if only Tuesdays work for you guys and they don't work for me, then I guess then I wouldn't be able to serve. But if it's any way possible to have it on any Thursday, I would be more than glad to be present.
So I would suggest, if it's the pleasure of the board, that we keep it where we're at, which is the 3rd Tuesday at 4 at this point. Make sure that we are correct in assuming that Commissioner Howard, that Thursdays are not cohesive with his schedule. If we find that that is different, then we will talk about whatever Thursday that is. But if we find that it does not work for him, then I say that we stick with the Tuesday, 3rd Tuesday of every month at 4 p.m. Is the board okay with that? Commissioner Greenow?
I agree. I think that that's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think we leave it and we don't do anything with this resolution, and then if in fact we, at our next month's meeting, Mr. Howard says, well, this Thursday works, and it
Okay.
does work for everybody, then we can re-agendize it and bring it back.
Okay, so I will, there's no action on this resolution at this time, and I will follow up with Commissioners Howard and Naffa about follow-up.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eli.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate your consideration.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so that was item 3.5.
We got three, 4.
Yeah, so we're on, well, no, he talked about 3.3. Do you want to get into more?
No, we didn't get an action on 3.3.
Okay, so you need an action on 3.3.
I do.
You
And
just
staff
skimmed
would
over it.
recommend, as we have in the past, of supporting the Yurok Tribe's annual Klamath River cleanup with 1 authority allocated dumpster and the waiving of the fees for 2 additional 20-yard roll-offs.
Excellent.
Make that motion.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Second. Do we have any public comment regarding item number 3.3, donation?
They do a ton of cleanup, and what happens beforehand is, people know that the cleanup's happening, and they do dumps on the river.
Can we please get a name?
And what was, you're with Home Depot. What was your first
My
name?
name's Hugh Campbell.
Hugh. So, I mean, what's the possibility of upping it from 2 to 3? What's the process on that?
We respond to their requests.
Oh, gotcha.
And so
that's what,
their requests have gone down because they've essentially cleaned up a lot of the legacy materials
Okay.
that are there.
I
And
was
they're-
talking with the who's spearheading that, and they.
Can you come
can
over
hear
to
me.
the mic?
It's all right.
But we can't hear you, and then it doesn't get recorded.
I was talking with who's spearheading that, and what they said was that they actually get so much dumping prior to that because they know that it's going to be cleaned up by that organization. So I would suggest 3.
We will work with them based on their requests.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. So I've got
And it is a wonderful event. If anybody is
Yeah.
interested in participating, I strongly encourage you to go down and check it out because it's, you'll tell us more.
Yeah, April 20th, we're hosting the Klamath River Cleanup, the 18th annual. So it should be sunny. We're expecting anywhere between 200 and maybe 400 folks to show up from both Humboldt and Delaware counties. We'll have locally caught fall salmon from last year, cooked on sticks, and nice organic fresh fruit breakfast and muffins and stuff, and then a really good lunch. We have a bunch of raffle items. We have Giants tickets to raffle off of. We have 80 donors for local businesses for other raffle items. And if you're not in the area, you can always, we're also started a witch pack group that cleans the upper portion. We have sites upriver that have cleanup too. So we do have 3 bins. We were using 2 of our own this time. And we've worked hard over the winter to clean up a pretty significant dump in the Glen. And we tank trapped it off and cleaned it up in preparation for the event. So we've been prepping for the event for about the last 3 months. So we really appreciate the collaboration we have with you guys and everyone contributing, including Home Depot. Without you guys, it would be almost near impossible to put it on. Thank you.
Thank you. Tell me your name.
My name is Koya Tuttle.
Okay. Thank you for coming up and being part of this and doing it. It's a lot of work, and we really appreciate it. I'm sure the community very much appreciates it.
Oh, yeah, it's the 2nd largest event in Klamath in the year. So, and without your bins, we would.
Well, thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Very good.
Okay, I have a motion. Oh, Eileen, come on up.
Just a thought, Eileen Cooper, just a thought on the situation that happens at the river. I'm actually glad that if people are desperate enough to, and of low income enough that they're just going to dump, I appreciate that they hold off and wait to do it at a time when they know it's going to be picked up responsibly. I mean, that's a little bit of an effort. And one idea, and I don't know how this community can get there, but a certain small amount of waste, 30 pounds, whatever, it should be just free. If you show that you're a resident and you can't afford, it should just be free. We are paying for the consequences of dumping everywhere from people who are desperate, and maybe they don't care, but I can't imagine that they wouldn't just be more responsible if it was free. To just a small degree. We could compensate property owners through some other means, but I just would like to see that happen on a trial basis. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor. Can you please hold the vote?
Commissioner Inscore?
Yes.
Chair Cowan?
Yes.
Commissioner Greeno?
Yes.
Great. Okay. So we're moving on to item 3.4, discussion of possible action regarding resolution number 2019-03 of the Board of Commissioners of the Del Norte Solid Waste Management Authority, authorizing submittal of a regional application for which the Del Norte Solid Waste Management Authority is eligible.
So this is a grant application to CalRecycle to help promote some of our product stewardship programs, including the Refuel Your Fund program, working to try to establish the use of LED marine flares and smoke instead of the projectile explosive flares, and to have some refillable propane container exchange events. So the grant proposal was put together by the staff of the California Product Stewardship Council, and we appreciate that. But we do need to adopt a resolution in order to complete this submittal. So we've already submitted the application to CalRecycle, but it's not going to be an active and complete application unless the board approves the authorizing resolution. So staff recommend approval.
So I'll entertain a motion on that.
I move that we approve resolution 2913.
Great.
Oh, 3, I'm sorry, not 13.
So this is just for that particular program?
Just for those, they're for the Refuel Your Fund program, trying to encourage alternatives to the explosive marine flares, which actually technically don't even have a legal disposal method currently, and to have refillable propane exchange events. Those are the 3 activities.
Well, I'll go ahead and second that. Do we have any public comment on item 3.4? Seeing none, a motion and second?
Chair Cowan,
Yes.
Commissioner Greeno,
Yes.
Commissioner Inscore.
Yes.
Okay. So we have nothing on the landfill or collection. Transfer station. Discussion and possible action regarding Hamburg WSG's letter of March 11th, 2019, requesting special service fee increases for brush, leaves, grass, wood, and stumps.
So we received the attached letters from Hamburg WSG, essentially explaining what we've known for some time, which is that the markets for yard debris and compost have declined significantly over the last few years. Especially since the opening of the transfer station in 2005, the rates for receiving brush have only been adjusted by changes to the consumer price index, and they have not addressed any of these operational cost changes that Hamburg has been seeing. So now, it used to be that the yard debris was just moved down the street and processed at the Hamburg facility. And of course, that facility has since burned down, and they're not doing that way anymore. So now those materials are being shipped to Rogue Valley Compost, where they are composted. But that's a much longer travel distance, and Rogue Valley Compost is charging a tipping fee because of the decline in the compost markets. So both of those things have significantly increased Hamburg's costs, and they are requesting a rate adjustment accordingly. So in general, we try to keep the rates for brush materials significantly cheaper than solid waste as an encouragement for those materials to be separated from the rest of the trash. So according to Joel Wallen, demand for wood materials and for cogeneration, meaning burning them for fuel, has declined, and the demand for compost products has also declined significantly following the legalization of marijuana in Oregon and California. Increased production of compost products and decreasing demand for finished compost has resulted in a glut of compost products, which is challenging for all parties associated with composting municipal yard debris. So though the compost markets have been changing quite a bit and declining over the last 2 years, this is the first special rate adjustments that has been requested for these materials. We didn't anticipate such dramatic changes to these operational procedures, and so the contract doesn't exactly allow for this kind of fee adjustment if the board doesn't agree to it. Staff have engaged and continued these negotiations with Hamburg WSG on the presumption that the authority board does not intend to force our contractor to provide these brush-related services at a loss. So in negotiations, Hamburg WSG presented to staff an analysis of the cost to deliver and unload brush materials at 9 possible facilities within 500 miles. Not all the facilities would accept all the brush materials. Some biomass facilities, for example, were not interested in any materials other than clean, untreated wood, for example. And no facility other than Rogue Compost was willing to agree to keep the doors open to receive brush materials from Del Norte for the next 3 years. So staff are recommending that we do actually secure a location for processing our brush material for the next 3 years. And we do recommend that the following actions. 1, request a letter from Hamburg WSG and or Rogue Compost providing assurance that Rogue Compost will continue to receive all yard debris delivered by Hamburg WSG through June 30th, 2022 for the pricing described in their letter. That these changes be incorporated to the fees for leaves, brush, grass, and untreated wood as requested by Hamburg WSG in change order 28, and that would be the change order implementing the CPI adjustment. Draft and present this transfer station operations change order at the May meeting, and draft change order 17 for Recology to incorporate the changes for brush fees, and to finally draft a rate ordinance to implement these changes, and then present that to the board.
Okay. Is there any questions, concerns? No?
I just have, so there's one statement that's not quantified in here. I see what the price is going from $53.07 to $74 a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But under related issues, at the end of the report, it says increasing rates for brush materials at Del Norte County Transfer Station will also significantly increase the rates for Ecology Del Norte's customers. I don't know what.
I probably shouldn't have said significantly. In general, the disposal rates are a third or less of the rates charged to customers, so it would be a proportional change. So it would be less than a 20% change to the rates for Recology customers.
Okay, well, I just think that it would be nice to have some kind of example of that, other than just, I mean, we're getting ready to draft something here, and I would not be able to say what is the cost going to be to the customer. And I think if we're going to do that, we have a responsibility to know what it is that we're saying yes.
You're absolutely right, sir. But unfortunately, the CPI index was released just a day or two before this agenda, so I was scrambling to put those numbers in. I will present them at the next meeting.
So at the next meeting, we will have numbers that will be passed along to the consumer in Del Norte County.
That's correct. At the next meeting, we'll have all of the draft rates for your review.
The increase in the per ton, the 53 to 74, what was used to identify that number?
Each of the rates has three components: an operations component, a transport component, and a disposal or recycling component. So in this case, the operations component didn't change, but both the transport and the disposal components did, because they're moving it to a different location and they're actually being charged a tipping fee now. So that's what changed.
So do we have those numbers? I guess the reason I ask this is when we went through the extraordinary situation with Recology, we asked, show us where these increased costs are. And I just think that out of respect for, if that's the way we handled it with one of our partners, we should do the same with both. So that I'm not questioning the numbers. I just think that the board should see what those are before we take this action. I'm not opposed to the action.
Those numbers were presented to staff, but as they were a variety of different proprietary businesses, I didn't include them in the agenda packet.
Okay, and I don't need every detail, just we're spending X dollars more on transportation, we're spending X more to handle it.
Yes.
That's all. I just think
that information will be available at the next meeting.
Okay, that's it. I'm good.
Also, I know this is.
And also, it's worth noting that even though the brush rates would be increasing to $74 a ton, that's still less than half the cost to dispose of mixed waste.
Absolutely.
Well, what I was going to say is, this is probably a little unrelated, but I think that does CalRecycle have any programs for composting or anything, like possible grant opportunities to get composting programs going in the counties at all? I mean, this is an awful lot of money to be shipping organic, basically wood and grass and other things out of our county.
The short answer is not much. The monies that are available for bottles and cans and oil is very clearly spelled out. The monies that are available for yard debris processing are in very high demand right now because everybody's scrambling, particularly in the urban areas, but there aren't very many resources like that available.
Okay.
Any comments, public comments? Okay, so come on up, Dave.
don't think I'm tall enough to, I can, this will work. It's been a problem at Hamburg the whole time, the composting situation. It's never been even close to a positive deal, but it was part of the deal. We are looking at, in the future, possibly being able to treat compost here locally. So it's not out of the realm that at some point we can, and we're looking forward to that. But composting is not the answer. So we're looking into it. We hope we can do something with it. It's a problem all over.
Sure.
We've got to deal with it, and we like those challenges.
Well, thank you for looking into it. That's a start. It's moving forward. Any other public comment? Okay, what's your pleasure, gentlemen?
So, do we want to table this until we get those numbers?
I need direction in order to develop these numbers.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know that there's anything on here that we have to vote on. We're just giving direction. I think that that doing the letter to ensure that place of receiving materials is going to be available for the 3 years at what they're asking for, and then putting together these change orders, and then the appropriate documentation that justifies them. I think we need to move forward on all of this.
Yeah, and it says discussion possible action. Can you just go forward with consensus?
I can, and I can offer Commissioner Greenough the assurance that by giving direction to draft these change orders doesn't approve the change orders. That still is a separate action by the board.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. So,
Move forward.
good work.
Thank you. Okay, I don't think all that skipping around, I think we got it all covered. So we're going to, what?
Are we done? Yeah, we kept moving.
Adjourn to the next regular
No,
meeting.
it's already done. Oh, the AVA at 4:30, you're absolutely right.
Back. Sorry.
Thank you. That was
I've got it all
right.
crossed off.
So all that's left to do on that item, though, is approve the AVA budget
Okay, so
as presented.
I have a motion.
I have a motion to approve the budget
I have a motion to approve the budget.
for the AVA.
Yeah, he motion.
Oh,
Are
he
you
did it?
yeah.
I didn't hear him, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Are you
Well,
seconding?
well, obviously I did.
Okay, perfect. Do we have any public comment?
Okay.
And I'm going to say that we recuse ourselves, I shouldn't say that, we stepped away from being, I don't know what the word you want me to use, from the solid waste, and we are now sitting as the Abandoned Vehicle Abatements Authority, and I've taken a motion to approve their budget in a second, and now I'm going to take public comment on that. Okay, seeing none, will you please pull the vote?
Commissioner Inscore?
Yes.
Chair Cowan?
Yes.
Commissioner Greeno?
Yes.
Okay, now that we're done with that, we're going to go back to being the solid waste, and I'm going to adjourn the meeting, and we will be seeing everybody at our next regular meeting, Tuesday, May 21st at 4 p.m. And we will be back in the chambers.
Your mic's off.
Oh,
I'm adjourning the meeting until May 21st.
nobody speak loud.
Thank you.
Come on.